Hello everybody. Today we're going to be looking at Cartesian planes and the coordinates on these Cartesian planes, especially when it comes to midpoints. So just a very quick refresher. The first value that you always see on a coordinate, so I've got a little coordinate over here, it is the x-axis value. So that's how far along it goes, this x-axis, which is in blue. And then the next number is for the y-axis, how far up or down it goes over here. Now we're going to be operating during this video only in this quadrant where we've got positive x and y values. Now we can turn on the guides to give us a bit of an indication of where we're getting our numbers from. See, it's 2 up and it's 2 across. Coordinate 2, 2. 3 up, 3 across, 3, 3. But what we wanted to look at was about the different ways that we can figure out a midpoint. Now we'll switch over to document camera where we can do a little bit of writing. And I'll just show a very basic calculation that we'll have a look at. So if we were trying to find out, let's say, the midpoint between, I'm going to give very easy numbers here, between 10, 10 and 20, 20. We can obviously guess what the answer is going to be, but using the formula that you're often told to use, and here's your x coordinate, your y coordinate, x and coordinate and y coordinate, you're just getting the difference between the two, or the average between the two. So if we get 20, take 10 over 2, it will be 10 over 2, which equals 5. And that means that the midpoint is going to be 5 either side of the coordinates that we've got. So for the x coordinate, it will be 5 away from 10. So it's 10 plus 5, which is 15. And obviously it will be 5 less than 20. So that's a way of being able to see that's halfway in between the two of them. It is 5 from 10 up to 15, and it is another 5 over to 20. And this is going to be exactly the same for the y coordinates. So we'll give a slightly harder question now. What if we had, let's say, the coordinates 6, 12, and then we got 8, 14. So again, using our formulas of what we know is x and y, where we're getting 1x, we're looking at the difference between one x coordinate and another, divided by 2, same for the y coordinates. So we'll do the x's first. 8 minus 6 over 2. 8 take 6 is 2, divided by 2 equals 1. And that way it's got to be one bigger than one number, one smaller than the other. So 6 plus 1 equals 7. We're adding the 1 to the smallest number. Okay, and we're taking 1 from the biggest. And we're going to do the exact same for y coordinates, and that's going to be 14 take 12 over 2 equals 1, and therefore the value that we end up getting for that one will be 1 plus 12, 13. So overall our answer will be, as the x and y values, will be 7 and 13. That's using the formula that we've got. But now let's actually try to picture some of this stuff. So let's have a look at that second one. We've got coordinates 6 and 12 and 8 and 14. So we're going to write those coordinates down. Get rid of the guides for a sec. And we'll go 6 and 12. 6, 12, and then 8 and 14. Now we're going to have to zoom out until we can see the coordinates. There's our coordinates. So we'll zoom in. So we can see our coordinates there. We can see the 6 down the bottom here. A bit hard to see because it's got the maths written in there. But we can chuck on our guides and our coordinates. Then we can see exactly where those coordinates are. Now it's going to be fairly obvious that the midpoint is right at the point of my cursor here. So it's going to be the average, like we'd calculated, between the x values and the y values. But the thing is, as much as we can do this using the formula that we just used, we can do things a lot quicker just by eyeballing this. So it's using the same formula, but I call it, I guess, the jump method or the hop method. However much distance you've got to hop from one to the other, you're just dividing it by 2. you're just getting the middle. It's like if you're going to go to a town that's 100 kilometers away and you want to find the middle, well, you've got to divide that 100 by 2. It's 50 each way. It's exactly the same principle. So the first one that I'll give an example of, we're going to give the same x coordinates. That way it makes it a little bit easier. So we'll go 15 and we'll go 20. Okay, so here are our 2 coordinates. We'll get rid of the guides. There's our 2 coordinates. Again, it's going to be pretty simple to see where the midpoint is. But now let's just use the jump method. So we know that 6 and 6 are going to be the same. So if we go to our document camera, we know that the answer is going to be 6 for the y, for the x coordinate. So x equals 6. But then when it comes to the y, we've got 20 and 15. So for one of our values, we've got 15, and the other one, we've got 20. The difference between the two is 5. Half of 5 is 2.5. So 2.5, 2.5. So it's that simple. 15 plus 2.5, 17.5. So when you get a question like this, it should actually be extremely quick how you figure it out. If you are required, obviously, to go by the formulaic way, then obviously you do it. So for our example here, we're going from 620 to 615, 620 to 615. Our midpoints, 6 take 6 over 2 equals 0. Actually, sorry, 6 take 6 is 0 over 2. Can't be done, so it's just going to remain a 6 for your y, for your x-axis value. There's no difference between the two of them, so it's not applicable. And then for the other one, for your y, it's going to be 20 take 15 over 2, which is 5 divided by 2, which equals 2.5. I'll go back to the 0 here, because 0 divided by 2, we add 0 to 6 to get 6. That's our x coordinate. And for here, we add 2.5 to the smallest number to get us our value there. So that's all that we're really doing when we're showing the working out. Well, let's give one with now different x and y coordinates. So let's say something like 12, 25, and 7, 34. Okay. So again, if I'm going to use jump method, I just go straight into it. From 12 to 7, you don't even have to have them in order of biggest to smallest. I'm just going to go from left to right. Okay? There's only 2 numbers here, so there's not ever going to be much confusion. From 12 to 7, it's a jump of 5. 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. 2.5 there, 2.5 there. 7 plus 2.5 is 9.5. It's always easier to do simple addition like this than subtraction. Now we're going to do the same for the 25 and 34. 25, 34. From one to the other is 9. Half of 9 is 4.5. So we've got a 4.5 jump, 4.5 jump. Add 4.5 to the smallest one, 29.5. So our answer is 9.5, 29.5. And we're going to be able to see this when we go back to our Cartesian plane. If we put in those values, 12, 25, 7, 34. So 12, 25, 7, 34. We zoom out. There's our 2 points. So it's going to be in the middle there, the midpoint. We had calculated it to be 9.5 and 29.5. And there it is. You can see it absolutely perfectly in there, and the guides as well. Perfectly in the middle, perfectly in the middle. So this is as simple as this can be. If you've got any more questions, I can give another video about this. I'd be more than happy to do so with any more types of questions, because obviously things get a lot more difficult if you don't use positive numbers all the time. So yeah, please leave any comments below, and thank you so much for your time.